So I will just have a small introduction about networking and learning group. Uh, it is started by Mr. Jason Abraham and Sushma Priju. Mr. Jason Abraham is an internal auditor and content creator, and he is an public speaking enthusiast. And Sushma Priju, HR professional, MCOM and honors diploma in computer science. He okay. So these are the co-founders of NLG, and more than that, we have pillars like Takir himself and Anil Kunuku, today's speaker, and he's an famous expert Toastmaster and well-known HR professional and MBA postgraduate and coach and mentor for many of us. So this is a question: what is why the networking and learning group? It is nowadays we have a lot of opportunity via networking to network and to learn, to share the knowledge. Whenever we are sharing our knowledge, we will be the first beneficiary for that knowledge. That's why we all are always chasing for the opportunities to share our knowledge and learn. So these are the main core aim of this group, networking and learning group: learn, network, and share our knowledge. So we having some social media communities like Facebook. We having LinkedIn pages, and also WhatsApp. You can join there if you are not the member of these groups. So thank you so much again. And before starting, just a small rules we can follow for all of us. Please always mute your audio, then nobody get disturbed. And use chat box if you have any comments or likes, any questions, you can use the chat box. And question all will be addressed at the end. Okay, so it will not affect our flow. And you can also take notes, and you can take screenshots. These are the small rules you can follow. And so here we go about today's speaker. This Mr. Anil Kunuku is speaker of the day, and he is enthusiast in learning and evolving, and a well-known HR professional, Toastmaster, certified NLP master practitioner, and mentor. So this is about our today's speaker. Okay, thank you so much. I think I am heartily welcoming our today's speaker, Mr. Anil Kunuku, and welcoming all the members and the founders, Mr. Jason Abraham and all. Thank you so much. Here we go. Thank you. Hi, Anil.
Hello, guys. Very good evening to all of you. First of all, I think we have guests, but they all prefer to be on invisible mode. May I request if you guys can come onto the camera so that we can see you, so that we can interact better. If it is okay, if it is difficult for you or your situation doesn't allow for that, that is also fine. But I always suggest to be on the camera, to be visible mode for a better networking and communication. I hope I'm clear and audible to all of you. Perfect. Just a moment, let me share my screen. Now it's good. Thank you. While we proceed, we expect that more guests and hosts will come and join. So let's start the show now. I'm just quickly sharing my screen. Here we go. Perfect. I hope my screen is clearly visible and I'm audible perfect, right? So once again, very good evening, fellow members, guests, and our helpers. I call helpers because of you we are here, and your support is always welcome, and we appreciate your standing together with us. Now today I am going to touch a little bit of the topic towards public communication or public speaking. What we talk about, what we say, public speaking. But why do we say that, and what is there in public speaking that we will try to get little more of the interesting part? So here we go. Okay, first of all, let me tell you a story, a small story. Once there was a boy, and he was in front of one beautiful lady, and the boy is none other than me. I'm revealing it before you make assumptions on your stuff. Of course, I didn't look like this, but yes, this is my childhood face. When I saw that lady, she said, "Hi, Anil," and I was silent. I couldn't say anything. Maybe because of the charisma of that lady, or maybe because of the ambience that I was in. I wanted to say something, but I was helpless. I couldn't say anything. I wanted to recollect my thoughts and what I was supposed to say. I forgot everything. I was like just dumbstruck. I didn't have any expression on my face. I didn't think of talking something. And I didn't get any idea what to say now. Again, after a couple of moments, she said, "Hi, Anil." Hi again. Still, I was paralyzed almost mentally because I was not getting anything to say. Now, the situation was almost altogether different. It was not just one-to-one elevator pitch, or it is not a beautiful lady to be connected with me, but the ambience was totally different. And it was speaking in front of certain amount of people. And that too when I was in 8th grade. That was my first poet reading competition. We can say inter-school debate competition. And the lady was my teacher. Rather, I call it as facilitator of that meeting. Now, we have a term here that is called glossophobia. What exactly this is? This is very simple. I'll tell you the meaning and what and how it happens when we go through this journey of slides. But it is very interesting to have such experiences. I'm pretty sure everybody and each of us have at least one such moment in our life where we still tickle that moment whenever we feel like this was my experience, or this was my past. Now, what exactly is glossophobia? Glossophobia is very simple. It is performance anxiety, the fear of speaking in front of an audience, right? So when we wanted to say something, we cannot utter a word. We have so much running in our mind, but we don't know what to say because everything seems like paralyzed, dizzy. We see something behind that object or person, we see everything blurred out. We don't know what is the next step. That situation is called glossophobia. By the way, this glossophobia is not the key element or the key factor stopping you from public speaking. Let me tell you. So, what do we need to know about this public speaking? Let us get through little bit of this public speaking segment. Why? Because public speaking itself is a huge subject. People have different variations when they present it, and everybody teaches something, and everywhere you have something to learn. Now, I want to know, or I want to ask, when I said I want to know, like I said, this is an interesting subject. There is always a question. Whether is it called a phobia or fear? If somebody says fear is phobia and phobia is fear, we need to give a pause to understand this is not the same. Fear is something that you experienced, over experience, and you do not want to try it again for another experience because you got a rejection, you got a denial, or you lost something, or you don't know what is going to happen. But phobia is something when you constantly build this fear sequentially with a phase of journey, and you stop giving that effort, and you still instill that fear constantly, that is called phobia. That means you're taking extreme measures to come out of that fear. So there is a difference. Now, during this session, I'm trying to attempt a little from my side to transform from being a public or common to a public figure or to uncommon individual. I'm not promising to make people who are in this room to be transformational, but yeah, this can help to understand what else I can add to my fear. So here comes the food for thought. I want to ask you guys, what is public? Any of you, if you can tell me what exactly the public, what is the definition of public? Let's take 30 seconds of round robin here. What is public you mean by? Anybody?
Apart from us?
You're also audience, come on. You're also audience.
No, public means apart from me.
No, that was your response, sorry.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, anything else?
Common around people around us, or can be a gathering, or people other than us, someone other than us, in a group of people, we can say.
No problem.
Swati says audience.
Okay. So, do we want to talk or speak? Which is the right one in this segment?
Speak.
Again, a question to you guys.
There is a difference. Talk means with one. Speak means might be with more.
Are you sure? Because I want to learn from you guys. No problem. We'll keep it in the parking lot. So what is public speaking then?
Facing a public. We are speaking facing public.
So, according to Swati, there is an audience. We want to speak something, and we are talking to that or speaking to that audience publicly. Should I arrive to this conclusion? Maybe, may not. It's okay, no problem. We'll keep it in the parking lot. Another question comes in, why are we afraid of public speaking? This is the key question of this subject. Everybody wants to know why we are afraid of it. What is there in it? Or what is that I need to learn more? Let's dig it and let's see what we get out of it. For me, connecting our thoughts with a self-talk and express to the people or situations is what communication. I don't mind whether that public an individual or in a situation or an object. But I want to connect my thoughts with my self-talk. We'll cover it. What is that self-talk during these slides? And express to that people or to the situation. This is my version of looking at the public communication or public speaking. I will not say this as public speaking again and again, but that is the way the subject is built. I take it as public communication, very simple, because the communication is the main ingredient in this whole scenario. Okay, so the story is done. Now, after this story, what is that I learned? I learned what is that fear. that I faced during that 10 minutes ambience? What is the fear that I learned or I identified? Now, people say public speaking is difficult, but I say self-talk is difficult. But it is not that difficult that nobody can practice it. I specifically highlighted this term. Why? Because we are going to cover this topic again. Now, again, the same question that we discussed. Should I speak or talk? So basically, these are the 2 points we are going to focus tonight. So when I say, should I speak or talk? I say, express your thoughts. Keep that speaking part or the talking part aside and express your thoughts, because that is what exactly matters when you stand in front of a person. Right? Make mental self. When the thought comes to your mind, put it to your inner self, make a dialogue. What I'm going to do this, what I'm going to do with this, how I'm going to put it out. Make that internal dialogue. That is where your delivery is forming out. Right? So that question comes. I failed once in a public, on a podium or a stage in a public gathering. What is my next stage, or where is my next stage? Now here comes the part, who is the public? The public can be a friend, a colleague, a customer, a guest, and a stranger during a long journey, or maybe in the elevator for 5 minutes. It really doesn't matter. The situation, the object, the individual can be anywhere, anybody. But the target purpose is simple: talk. Make that expression what you thought. Now we know what to identify, what to put in as an ingredient, but what do I have to do this? Do I need to have something? So I want to ask you guys, what do I need to have? The list will go on. So I'll put my next slide. Why? Because when generally I seek opinions from people, this is what I come across. People tell me that public speaking is all about your confidence. You have to have good English. You have to communicate well. You should have a style, speaking style. You should know the presentation mastery, how to do that presentation. Most importantly, you should have good topics. I got this feedback from many people many times. Again, when I started something or when I was about to start something, I had to come back to this checklist. What is next? Confidence is okay, I can put it up, no problem. I can fake it, no problem. Communication, okay, fine, I will do this better this time. Speaking style, I am still struggling. I don't know what is my speaking style, but I want to speak. That is okay. Now, good English, that is not me who is going to judge. That I leave it to the people, whether they are understanding my concept. Presentation skills, I think Google can teach us better, or our seniors can teach us better. Good topics, this is the killing part. I never found a strategy to find a good topic because nobody taught me what is a good topic. No problem. Let's find out. Like I said, self-talk, the basic ingredient in this public communication. I can testimony this. Why? Because I have been a Toastmaster for the last 3 years. When you start this journey, you come through so many interesting facts and learnings. When I sum it up, this is where I come through. Self-talk. I don't say that this is the only element that helps in public speaking, but this is one of the key ingredients. You must have noticed during this COVID time or during these COVID situations, in the era of social interactions and so much transformational sessions, so many transformational sessions, self-talk is happening everywhere. If not so many, at least few people are teaching you what is self-talk. This is self-talk. This is nothing, just an internal dialogue that has to influence your subconscious mind. Like I said, you have a thought, but why do we have to stop with that thought? Create that internal dialogue to influence your subconscious mind. Now, when you want to influence your subconscious mind, you have so many options: positive, negative, good, bad, interesting, boring, monotonous, crazy. So many things are involved. Why? Because it provokes your thoughts, your ideas, how you believe that transaction or the task or the object, how you question yourself or to the people when you see this or when you experience it, what kind of interest you develop it, right? So the self-talk can be positive and negative as well. When you see something, before I say this, I wanted to say something. If you close your eye, the entire world is shut down. You cannot see anything. But the moment you open your eye, you see something in front of you, and immediately your mind starts speaking with you. Now, that thought that absorbed through your eyes, which is making a dialogue internally, we are unintentionally helping to add the flavor of negativity or positivity. We don't know. We are just doing it because that instant moment needed a dialogue and it needed an environment, and we are doing it. That is where we need to focus. Whether I'm fine tuning this thought to deliver this as a word in a positive way or negative way. When we are talking about the delivering part, we are not delivering to the people. This is still internal process that we are talking about. Because the quote says, right, your thinking or your thoughts are what you are. Very simple. The way you think, you express. The way you express, people will absorb that gesture. If your gesture is not right, your words will not synchronize. If your words are not right, you will lose one potential audience. If you lose an audience, you lost an entire event of your ability to prove something. And where this entire uh, process started in your mind, very simple, with a small thing that you observed, one small pop-up from your thought. Now let me tell you how this self-talk will help you. When you frequently or constantly you're tickling your mind or teasing your mind for new ways of understanding that object or that situation or that scenario, it reduces the stress. Why? Because your mind is working towards something. It is not building or accumulating that stress anymore. Because when the innovation happens, the stress has to come down. That is why people talk about creativity, emotional intelligence, creative thinking, trans, uh, what, what we call it, trans-creative learning. Why? Because when you're reading something, you're making a dialogue internally. Sometimes you make a note, you underline it with a pencil. Why? Because your subconscious mind says, take this note, because this is something new to me, right? So when you are creating so much inside, there is no room for the stress. When there is no room, when you are standing in front of people, where is that stress? Because your thoughts are formed, you've already put so much into it as your thoughts, beliefs, your creativity. You framed a sentence, you want to articulate it in a different way than the other one. So when you set all this ambience, where is the fear factor surviving? It is not. That is where you gain your confidence and resilience, because you synchronize that situation according to your thoughts. Very simple. This is all about self talk. If I have to name it another way, I call it as affirmation. And how we can do this in a different way, we will go to the next slide and we'll see. So I take self-talk as a main ingredient in the public speaking or public communication. Now I come to these points. I will say, don't speak, just talk, because you have your own baby of delivery. What you know what you want to talk, you know what you want to say, you know what you want to express. So just talk. Don't speak, because speaking is something that you are just taking the support of your vocal support to deliver something. But when you talk, you're taking the consensus or the curiosity or absorbing the interest from people, because that is not one-way communication then. If I see the interest from you, my subconscious mind taking that positivity while building that confidence internally, and it is going smooth. The flow is happening now. That is what the last point. Don't feed your mind while talking. What does it mean? You must have noticed when you are talking in the gallery view to the people, especially on Zoom, I am referring to Zoom, you will not look at the camera, you will look at people. So if one of the people or one of those people, if they are constantly looking at the mobile on the screen, you know that they are fiddling with their mobile. Your subconscious mind is taking that hint and giving a feeling of guilt or regret or something confusing situation, right? This is a key fear factor when you stand in front of people to deliver something. If they sit like this, your mind confuses whether this fellow is listening or he is making fun of me or he is lost. We don't know. If somebody sits like this, you are actually making them bored, right? This is where the body language, the influence of your hands, your gestures, the way you present to people, the way you look at your audience. That I'm not getting the right word, but if you cannot hold your audience for the first 30 seconds, you will lose one potential audience. Finish. That is a mantra of standing on the podium. When you put so much into it, when you know where to stop, what to stop, and where to admit and what to not admit, the confidence is building inside while you're talking, while you're delivering. You're already halfway through, and the confidence is building up again and again constantly. Your flow, your pace, your pitch, everything will go with the expected way of delivery. You don't need to worry about anything. Why? Because you already visualized that success, that I'm going to make it and I will do it and I'm doing it. Very simple. If you do that, if you have that my movement on the podium or on the stage, you don't worry about audience. The audience will be worried about you, that why we have to finish this. That is a mantra of public speaking. Self-talk is a main ingredient. The more you practice, the better you get what you want. Not only for public speaking, effective communication, what you call, right? How effectively I can communicate with my ambience, with my people, with my network. These are some examples of the self-talk. There is always a way to think, talk, or speak, or visualize. If I have to pick up the last point, the negative side of is just there is just no way this will work. Like when we are actually tired or when we try to give up. But what if I say I can and will give it all of my efforts to make it work? That is my determination. Now it has to happen. Why? Because I give that booster to make it happen. right? I'm not going to read all these dialogues here. Why? Because this is self-explanatory, and we will move on. Now, these are few tips. Like if you see, what will happen if I use the soap with my other hand? If I'm the right-handed person, if I use the left hand, what will happen? How my mind will synchronize with my movement. You're making that dialogue constantly. Trust me, you will not think about your boss, you will not think about your girlfriend, you will not think about anything. Your main focus will be on your other hand and soap, whether it is applied correctly or not. This is the creative thinking, or this is the self-talk. Whatever we do, whatever we have, whatever we want to plan, everywhere self-talk is involved. Now, this is my tip for everybody. Always carry this battery. Acknowledge whatever comes to your way. Let's not escape. Take it as a challenge, acknowledge it, and accept your ability. Whether I cannot do it, I can do it, doesn't matter. Accept it. If I cannot do that, since you acknowledge to it, you have to do something to accept it, right? You already accepted, now you have to act for it. That means you have to deliver something. It really doesn't matter whether you have it already or not. When you acknowledge that situation, or when you accept a challenge to yourself to fade into your subconscious mind, you have to act anyway. Nobody is going to come to transform us. We have to transform ourselves, right? With this, I'm closing it because this is a vast subject. I really don't want to challenge anything, but this is my view of looking at the public speaking or public communication or public talking with my limited Toastmasters experience. Over to you guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anil. It was a pleasure having you, especially with the closing of AAA battery. And I never expected AAA can go to acknowledge, accept, and act. So this is an eye opener, a brainstorming session, and thanks a lot for the session. The floor is open for question and answers. Taki, you can start.
Yeah, thank you so much, Anil Kunuku, for a
Thank you.
wonderful presentation. And as you said, it is a challenge nowadays, and everyone need to, inculcate this ability to speak. Public speaking is one of the crucial in our success journey. And you pointed all the point. I think you pointed out all the points. And as you said, nowadays the challenge is if in a Zoom-like platform, how we are deliver that standing topic more effectively. This is a good challenge, and how it is affecting our mind while we are delivering those uh, speak. So these are the things we have to focus. I think, as you said, if someone is not focusing, because it is very easy to not to focus or make them lazy in front of mobile or something, because no one is they are not bothered about somebody is watching. So this is the challenge. I think I think many of others also can speak now. I think someone. Hi.
Before Ataki, I have a question for Mr. Aril here. Um, when we are actually now we have moved a lot from that stage speaking things like before COVID we had that stage speaking on stage speaking fear and all these things, and then when Zoom came in or the online platform came in, I think many speakers regained their strength and started their own online speaking channels, and then I think it's a change which happened in them. So what next? Because stage speaking is completely different from Zoom speaking. Zoom, you are in the comfort zone and you are in front of the screen, and I think it's the level of comfort zone is higher than the on-stage speaking, because on-stage speaking is too much critical. So Anil, just one question for you is that when a person is coming back to the normal life, if there is any normal life in next year or coming years, then how critical is to understand that getting back on the stage is important, and how that is transition period from Zoom to the on stage. is going to make a difference in one's life. Can you just throw some light on that?
See, for me, uh, physical public speaking delivery or physical communication is a key key ingredient for any human being, who are educated, not educated, doesn't matter, because it involves the communication.
Yeah.
It is all about how you convince the other fellow, right? What kind of language you use, or what kind of negotiation you put in that moment. So how does it come? With your experience, with your knowledge, with your learning, or with your own self? Now, the current segment, the COVID era, what we call it, this was unexpected.
Yeah.
There have been many people who used to tell, I'm not a Facebook person, I'm not a digital fellow, and I don't know ABCs of computer. Now they have to be on the computer to do something on Zoom or maybe some online virtual communication.
Exactly.
I'll take it as a positive note. I don't know how many people crib about COVID, but COVID is a blessing for me, to be honest. Why? Because it gave me an opportunity to learn so many things. Especially my kids also, they learned very quickly how to operate Zoom. I never expected that they will be on Zoom, right? So it is always about, like I said, accepting that situation that come into your life, first of all. When you accepted it, you have to survive with it, right? You have to learn. Now, you already experienced the physical domain of public speaking. Now we are doing the Zoom sessions. In future, I expect the virtual presence. If you have seen the movie Spider-Man Homecoming, again and again, his mentor, Iron Man, comes and stand in front of him to talk. He is not physical, but he is virtual. Still, he is giving his speech in a way that he has to communicate to the Spider-Man, right? Why? Because the effect, the influence, the content, the delivery, the communication has to be there in that situation. So whether you are on virtual platform or physical platform, it really doesn't matter. What you need to know that how I'm going to effectively communicating this one, right? If you cannot communicate, where is the point of convincing? If you cannot if you cannot convince, where is the point of the result? If you cannot get the result, where is the point of reapproach? We are losing everything that are interlinked with one small point, that communication. Now the communication can be anywhere, right? Regional language, foreign language, gestures. If I have to express something to the blind, I cannot do that, right? I have to guide him. I have to hold his hand. I have to do something. If I have to shout at a deaf fellow, I cannot do that, because obviously he will not listen to me. I need to find a way to make him understand what is my next strategy. So communication is really important, but how, where, what you're going to communicate, that matters, right? I hope I try to give a little input here.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah, great explanation. I think Swati ma'am or someone, any question, or I will go with a
Want to
lot
come
of.
on the video? No?
No question. No question. Sir is always.
Too old love to see you.
Sir, but tell me one thing, sir. With all due
We would love
respect.
to see you anyway.
With kids, they speak or talk.
Oh, lovely. None of us are young, trust me, except Prem, perhaps.
Okay, I can hear dual voices. I don't know, Swati, you
Yeah.
have a second version of yourself around the computer?
I think Arathi is.
No. My kids left.
Okay.
Swati was asking, speak or talk? Two
Okay.
questions. Whether to speak or to talk.
Okay, Swati, I counter question you. Where do you want to speak and what do you want to talk? You are on mute,
Good,
Swati.
mute.
Mostly I'm giving instruction only, sir.
Okay. Well, so you are speaking, huh? There is no communication you are
Okay.
expecting from other side,
Yeah, that's true.
because you wanted to convey and you are just speaking, but talking is what? taking the consensus of other fellow opinion.
Yeah.
When you, okay, just a clear example, when you make a phone call, if the other person is talking, what do you say? Talk to me, right? Why? Because the communication has to be from both ends.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nowhere you go and you say,
Agreed.
speak to me. You say, speak with me. There is a difference. Okay.
True.
Talk to me is the most effective way. Why? Because the opinions are exchanged, the dialogues are discussing, and the expressions are synchronizing. But when you say speaking, you wanted to say something and you're speaking it. Like you said, instructions. You can give the instruction to your kid, right? Bossy type. Put it there, close it down, shut it down. You're speaking anyway. But what is talking? Where is the mantra of that effectiveness? Commanding is okay, but where is the mantra of that understanding? You talk and you get it very simple.
Acknowledging.
Yeah.
Great, great. So, anyone have any doubt or something?
Welcome.
So, this is a nice topic. I hear that more than death, the number one fear is public speaking fear. You can believe that because it is a phobia, and the most horrible fear is public speaking fear. Anyone, even if an expert also can. I think most of the expert leaders, world leaders, they came up with a lot of great delivery in their words, like Obama last time or any. Yeah, I think.
But let me tell you one thing, Taki.
Yeah.
There is no fear that we can treat. Phobia needs counseling and constant consultation. But fear goes by practice. Let's say when you go into the water, let's say you go to beach, you are in the middle, you are up to the level of your waist in the water. You have a fear that one snake will come and it will trap your leg. That is your fear. Okay. But next time when you go there, you will come little backside of that shore. Why? Because I mean, little backside of that water level. Now this time not up to the waist level, maybe thighs level. Why? Because you have that fear. You can see that. You want to see that there is no object that is coming to disturb. If even that moment, if you get a stick that gets stuck in your leg or something, you feel like some creature was there. But if you do that again, third time, fourth time, fifth time, what happens? You will stand on the shore, not in the water. Because this is phobia now. You couldn't treat that first experience in a better manner during the second time. Right? So fear is all about dealing with a little bit of tweaking of habits or making experiments with your fear factors.
Desensitizing, sensitizing.
Exactly. Like I said, identify the fear. How will you identify? You need an experience, right? Without an experience, you cannot identify that fear. You have to analyze what went wrong in that situation. What is the worst that I can expect next time? Or what is that I have to add next time? Very simple. So it is all situational.
Yeah, I have one more doubt. From your experience, from in the beginning of the Toastmaster speaking, public speaking and all, how you felt, how was your experience, and now if you are delivering something, how is your feeling? What is the difference? If you
Lucky, I had the same doubt. I had the same doubt. I wanted to ask you. Really, the first time now.
Yeah.
Okay. But before that, first you have to tell me what is it that you notice as a speaker now?
More confident?
Flow is there and easy to communicate. You are just like a friendly talk. You are dealing that way. But I think in the first son, it is not that much easy to deliver that way. So.
Okay. Let me put it this way. Whenever you want to give a speech, you need a cozy, comfort environment. Your mind has to be free. If there are so many distractions, it cannot be a good ambience for you. That is one. Second, failure is always there. Always you can expect some feedback from that situation. It can never be 100%. Even now, if somebody has to give me feedback, they could easily say, Anil sir, please change your background. Because there is always room for improvement, right? Or somebody can tell me that, sir, light is on your head, please put it in front of your face, right? But my situation, that doesn't tell, I cannot plug that light from the roof and put it in front of me, right? When you have everything neatly arranged and when you have settled every point of checklist, you become more confident. That is what I said. Before doing something, you have to make a plan. What is it coming now? What do I have? How should I use these resources? If this doesn't work, what is the next option I have? Let me tell you now, coming to your question, Taki. The first speech that I delivered in Toastmasters, we call it as icebreaker. Why icebreaker? Because you are going to break the ice for the first time on the floor. You are going to speak in front of people. When I did that, I spoke something irrelevant because I thought of something else. I spoke. What I spoke, that doesn't matter, but I spoke. People said, it's okay, this is your first time. After that, I realized that speaking in front of people is not that easy task, especially when everybody is looking at you. I'll give you 2 tips. Whenever you want to face the public, never look into their eyes. This is the area that you can focus, right? This area you can target to look at people. You are not looking into their eyes. If there are so many people in the room, always look over their head. Every other fellow thinks that you are looking at them, right? And to make it interesting, ask questions. If you don't ask questions, they may sleep or they may pull out their mobile phones. If you trick 1 or 2 audience in between, everybody will be alerted. I don't know when my turn will be coming in. All right. So find ways according to the situation. In the Zoom meeting, I cannot do that, but I can do a presentation in a way that I can pick up anybody randomly, right? And we can easily target he or she is not in line. So now my next strategy will be how I will engage this audience instantly. These are the tips we learn in public speaking.
Very good, very good.
This
So
is
that
not rocket science, but yeah, by practice.
So these are the 2 differences. As you said, we have to focus on someone's eye contact is important. We have to give the individual attention. These all things somebody is saying. So we have to tick there also. We have to trick there also. Otherwise, it will be affecting our flow, I think.
Body language is also very important because you should know how you are synchronizing your hand movements or your eye contact. Or if you constantly look at one person, the other audience feel like we are ignored. So I do from left to right to left, or center to panorama view. Okay. And another tip: never point out anybody like this. This is not a great gesture. It is always like this. Whenever you want to show something or present something, you want to refer something, don't tell that this fellow did something good to me. Tell this fellow did something good to me. That is the respect you are giving, right? So this is a very good science. If you keep on digging in, you will get more interesting points.
Definitely.
Anil,
Okay. Yeah. Anyone having question? Yeah, please continue.
Anil, just a small question. When I searched this tips for public speaking in Google, one of the tip I found out, consider that the audience don't know anything. Speak like that. Consider
Exactly.
that the audience don't know anything. Is it correct way to think like that, or is it a negative thing?
No, I have a different view on this. Why? Because when you say public speaking, the public is different. They consist with different age groups, different cultures, different experiences, different mental states, or different points of views, and finally different experiences in their past. You don't know whatever you are going to speak, how it is going to trigger their emotional balance, how sensitively you are tricking or teasing their emotions. We don't know. Your fun can be somebody's mental imbalance. Okay. So if somebody says treat them that they don't know anything, I have a different view. I treat it as they know everything. So I have to be careful what I'm saying or what I'm delivering. Because talking or speaking is not so great. Accepting the questions and you should potentially answer to them is the greatest challenge.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah, because you already delivered what you know. But when the question comes, that is where your real maturity comes in. You don't know what kind of question is coming in.
Yeah.
If the audience stand up and say, "Sir, you said it, and this is wrong." Why? Because this is my own experience. There you have no room to justify.
Yeah.
Right?
True.
So taking the script or text or context from Google is not the idea. When you have your own story, that is more connecting point for people.
Yeah.
Because you are telling your experience, right? You are not cheating. You are not taking somebody's experience. If I say that every day I'll go to office in the gray T-shirt, come on, everybody knows that Facebook Mark does that. What is the new thing that you are doing?
Yeah.
Right? So it is all about understanding the audience or always keeping them on the higher level, not below.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Hi, Anil. I have a question.
Hi, Shiju.
Yeah, you have mentioned about the public speaking tips for public talk and especially the need for preparation. So my question is about the off-the-cuff speech. Do you have any tips for that?
Which kind of speech you're referring to?
Off-the-cuff speech, just like just talk about something you don't have the time to prepare. Off the cuff.
Okay, we call it as impromptu.
December.
Okay.
So when we say impromptu, we call it as also elevator pitch. Why? Because you come across something and you have to speak. You don't know what to say. For the people generally make fun of it. Why? Because they take a reference that you are going late to home and your wife stop you at the door. You have to give an excuse. What is that impromptu? So people also take it in a different angle. Somebody says impromptu, somebody says elevator pitch, somebody says wife talk.
Another word also there, I think.
Yeah. So now coming to Shiju's question. See, if somebody says what you are going to be in the next 5 years, I don't know what I'm going to be next 5 years. But okay, let me give you one simple example. Like I mentioned in my previous talk, when I went for an interview, the HR manager asked, "Where do you want to see yourself in next 5 years?" I didn't have any idea because that was my first interview. Come on, man. And he was asking about my 5 year plan, which I never planned for it. So instantly I told him that, "Sir, I want to become a single cabin manager." He laughed. He said, "Anil, what does it mean?" I said, "Sir, I don't know. I just thought." And I said it because I found this room very fancy. Your room is so fancy. That means you get all the benefits, you have all the comfort, you have all the authority. So I want to be like you, simple. So here the tip is use that surrounding or environment that you have if you have to talk about anything. It really doesn't matter wherever be the situation. It also doesn't mean that you will talk about your scooter or parking to your wife when you reach home. No, you have to have that presence of mind where is that small idea I am trying to frame here? That comes with practice, experience, or little presence of mind. Humor is really important. I'm not the humorous person, but yeah, I try to inculcate at least little 0.1% of it. So it is all about using the environment, taking the leads from what is around you. That should be fair enough, Shiju.
Okay, thanks, Anil.
I think I'll add something on this public speaking. Nowadays, in the new platform we are using, so we need to consider one more thing. We don't have that physical presence, so still we have to consider the three things: audio, visual, or kinesthetic. End. So we need to consider in that sense. So you have something on that. This is a new just knowledge I learned from last something.
So basically, you're targeting the virtual presence.
Yeah.
When it comes to virtual presence, obviously you cannot have so many leads that what I'm going to talk. It is all about your experience and practice. What is the thing you are bringing in and how you're articulating. Here, your wisdom matters. In any given topic, how you have effectively used your wisdom to bring in any topic to convince in that moment to those people is the key here. Right? It really doesn't matter what you're talking, but if you can relate it to the current situation, that should be super good.
Okay. Thank you. Parag, you have something? Parag?
I think Faraj is getting prepared.
Okay. Yeah, for next speaking. And Shiju already done. Okay. I think almost.
Yeah, we are good to wind up.
Yeah.
Nobody's there.
Right. Perfect.
Thank you so much, Anil. Thank you for the
Thank
time.
you, team.
You
Thank
can
you.
run back home now. Thank
Yeah,
you.
Anil,
Yes.
thanks very much, Parag. Yeah, thanks. Very nice.
Hi, Parag. Thank you. I have a Toastmaster meeting now. I have to attend and then I'll go home.
Okay.
Best of luck. Have an
Thank you.
elevator pitch ready for your wife.
Thanks.
That's a good one.
Okay, team.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Let's
much.
say good night. Yep.
Good
Take
night.
care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Anil, Jason.